Thank you to be here for the presentation of the new ClubSwan36, the new one design of Swan. Please follow the presentation on the screen outside, on the screen inside. I hope that you enjoy. I would like to introduce Leonardo Ferragamo, President of Natur Swan.
Thank you. Good evening. I have to say it's really wonderful to be here, and I feel very honored in having so many close friends, so many passionate sailors around us. And I would like, first of all, to remember a person that was very much at heart with many of us, Vincenzo Zaccagnino. Vincenzo was a dear friend, one of the greatest journalists yachting has seen in the last several decades, and he left us a few days ago, so our thoughts are with him first than everything else. A special thank to the Société Nautique de Saint-Tropez and to BMW for organizing this lovely way, this very informal but nice way of presenting something we have very much at heart, the ClubSwan36. As you may know, ClubSwan yachts have been recently established, and they want to be for Natur Swan the forefront in performance, in innovation, in design, and going alongside with the Swan yachts. It takes the DNA and the value that are behind Natur Swan. It is about elegance, it is about performance, and furthermore, it's about reliability. And everything in Natur Swan is done with passion and with pride. The pride that has created a culture in the company as to always be forward-looking and always have the ambition of doing things better than anybody else. At least we try. The first ClubSwan was launched here 2.5 years ago in the same venue, and we presented the 50 with a lot of expectation and some hesitation, because it was very much a challenge to bring out a boat that was so different from anything else Swan had done. But we had trust in what we were able to express, and I think the result paid. We have well more than 20 boats between sailing and in production nowadays, and this has allowed us to create a special project for the Swan One design. The Nation Trophy, I'm sure you're all aware of, wants to be an important point of reference in sailing in the world. It is innovative in the sense that it brings back to sailing something that had been forgotten, which is the confrontation between different countries in the water when challenging each other. And so the first edition in Palma was a real nice success, very rewarding, that pushed us to create the Nations League in the various regions. The Mediterranean were part of in this event. The North European is also established, and we're aiming to have them in Asia and in the USA, as we prepare for the Nation Trophy itself, which is going to be in Palma, October 2019. So why the ClubSwan36? We had the question ourselves. The easy answer was because it was the first swan ever built, which was also a 36. It was Tarantella, and Tarantella did open a new era in the sailing world with its innovation, with its values that it brought to the sailing world. Well, that was one of the reasons. But I have to say that thinking of a project which you will see very shortly, which is as exciting and I would say breathtaking as you can could not imagine, we thought of really... Can we have some attention over there, please? We really wanted to bring to the sailing world a boat that is of a dimension that can allow many new sailors from the new dimension that are looking for performance, they're looking for excitement, and they're looking for easy sailing, but also a gentleman kind of competition to come and join the organization that we have built around Nautor Swan. The Nation Trophy, the Swan One Design organization, and everything else that we try to do to create excitement, enjoyment for the yachts that we so proudly built. The other reason why we decided for the ClubSwan36 is because when we briefed 1K to do something really exciting, and he came up with this project, I tell you, it was impossible to resist to take it and to launch it. So thank you, Juan. Thank you, everybody. I would like to invite Juan to unveil the new project, the ClubSwan36, with me, and then I will leave him the microphone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now the floor is yours.
The floor is mine. Well, thank you, Leonardo. Thank you very much for the opportunity of designing boats like this. It's not very often that we have this chance. Thank you very much, and thank you everybody for coming. I can see some friendly faces amongst the crowd, and I'm very excited about this moment. As Leonardo said, 2.5 years ago, we were in this place launching the ClubSwan 50. Since then, it's been quite a ride and a very nice success. We have learned how to work together. We have learned our ways, and we have now, 2.5 years later, I think ready to take it to the next level. We are ready to push it to the new boundaries. Nautor Swan has always been at the forefront of technology since the very beginning, and I think is a very good combination. It's a very good yard that we partner with to produce a boat like this. I think that the world of sailing is actually going through a very interesting transition right now, from the America's Cup on the one end to the Olympics on the other extreme, and through the Volvo Ocean Race. We are discovering new ways of going sailing, and I think that this project actually sits in a very interesting range and aspect of that very wide ways of sailing. It's a boat that combines innovation and technology to achieve accelerating and very high performance, but yet do it in an accessible way, in a way that good sailors, but amateur sailors could actually have a grasp and achieve these performances in all safety. I think that this was very important for us to underline around this project. I can hear a lot of noise in the back. Maybe you guys in the back can listen. I promise you it's worth the listen. Thank you. So we will go through a few slides here that will describe the boat, and I will be talking about it. So this boat, as I was saying, is a very lightweight boat, and as such, it produces, or it opens the door for a type of sailing which is foil assisted. This doesn't mean that the boat would be foiling in a way as flying. There is a distinction between foiling and flying. this boat will be producing a lot of vertical force, not all the way to flying, but keeping the boat under control into a situation that we call skimming. It is a very powerful boat, as you can see. Maybe somebody can... I am sure the wine is really good, but this project is actually better. Maybe you can... Thank you. So, as you can see, it's a very powerful boat, and combining a fairly big draft to keep the boat light. There's a very deep fin, almost 3 meters. Dual rudders as usual, and then we have bring this what I believe is a very innovative and interesting concept, which is the one of the curved foil. This is a foil which is actually, in order to keep it simple, in order not to take it to the level of the flying, which basically is very exciting, but it takes a very demanding crew and to control it, and to a certain extent is actually not that safe. We came out with this idea of a foil, which is a curved foil that would sort of go and rotate, as you will see later, all the way across the boat and can be used in both tacks. Maybe we can keep going with the slides and I will show you this. It is a full racing boat. As you can see, the deck layout is purely racing. There is very much limited interiors. The interiors have some accommodations, but purely as a refuge type of accommodations, not as a connected or wired style of accommodations. To the point of having even a retrieving line for the spinnaker, which makes the racing very exciting. We're aiming at having a boat at 2.5 tons displacement, which is very light, and for a length of 11 meters, and a draft, like I was saying, of 2.75. Incredible. Thank you. We have teamed up with Pure Design and Engineering, which is a company, a very well-known, established company in the design of structures, led by Giovanni Vegrano, whom we are developing a very nice relationship, and we have made a what I believe is a very light boat, as you could see, 2.5 tons. Yet is CE approved, so it goes through all the norms, and is a standard built boat. Now into the rig, and this is the part that I believe is very important. As you all know here, yachting, sailing is about transforming energy from the wind into a propulsion. The way this is done is by a combination of. The way this is done is by combining the aerodynamic aero forces together with the hydrodynamic forces and moments that counteract that. This equilibrium is done under a wide range of power requirement. On the light wind speeds, when you need the power, you need not only a lot of sail area, but you also need to control this sail area. This is why we have created this very versatile rig, which allows to power up the boat when it's needed, but at the same time to depower it and control it when you don't need it. I think you have to see this boat more as a big dinghy rather than a small, typical boat. The spinnaker is actually very big and powerful as well, which will promote very exciting downwind racing, because together with the foil, as you will see in a minute, will lift the boat out of the water into a skimming situation, which I believe is a very interesting way of sailing, because it doesn't go all the way to the flying like many other classes today, but it keeps the sailing safe and fun without having to get to a level of expertise that is required in the flying of catamarans and things like that. Can we go to the next slide, Pietro, please? Okay, so the mainsail is 56 square meters, the jib is 34, and the spinnaker is 103 square meters. The spinnaker would have a retrieving line all the way inside the boat, like I said, and that would promote very exciting racing. There is a very interesting feature here, which is the, you can see it's only one single set of spreaders with a retrieving here for the runners. but this is done. This is combined with a very versatile mast. This whole thing works together. It's quite complex to explain here, but it would allow the sail plan to go through a very wide set of ranges without having to change jibs and change mainsails and all that. There is one reef for the very high end of over 20 knots type of sailing, but most of the racing that we all do is going to be with a full main and one single jib. The deck layout, as I told you, is 7 winches, so the 3 symmetrical on each side, and then there's one pit that is also used for the retrieving. And then there's a very interesting feature of how we attach the forestay into a loop inside the feature for the retractable bowsprit. All this is, there's nothing super innovative in all these different features. It's the combination of all of them which actually, I think, put the boat into a category of its own. Here is what I wanted to tell you about the foil. So as you can see, it's a curved foil. Now, when the foil is completely deployed, it's all the way out here, and then it sort of swings from one side to the other one, so you can actually use it downwind with the tip on the outside, and then upwind, it's an asymmetrical foil that goes all the way down and actually produces vertical force as well. In the higher end, in the above 14 knots or so, then you can choose to use this foil all the way down and sail downwind hotter angles and faster, or you can choose to have these type of features which would be easy to jibe and then have lower, sort of more VMG friendly angles. The interesting part, if you go back 1 second, Pietro, thank you. The interesting part of this is that when you sail with asymmetric foils, even upwind, it drives the boat into a negative leeway situation, which means that the boat actually goes higher than what is pointing, which brings the experience of sailing upwind particularly very, very interesting. And it's very efficient because in going into negative leeway, the efficiency of the rig is increased quite significantly. Here we have prepared some renders and photos for you of how we expect the boat sailing. Again, see for yourself, but it's a very powerful. Here you could see when he removes the water, the position of the foils. This is a shot from underwater, and this is how the upwind condition will look like. The upwind sailing would be about 21 degrees of heel, and downwind would be anything between 15 and 21 degrees. Very well. I hope you like it. I would like to thank you very much for coming. Thank you. Thanks very much. And I will thank you. I will now like to introduce Philippe Poulain, whom is not only a dear friend, but also he'll take care of the project management and the project leadership on this campaign, which is very technologically driven and very advanced, so we need his help. And so Philippe, please explain to us about the class and the boat and everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Juan. Maybe Juan forgot to say something. In fact, he says that if everything goes well, it's because of him. If it's going bad, it's because of me. So now I need to explain how we're going to do that. Of course, the first thing to say is we're making a prototype, and the prototype is almost ready to be. Juan is finishing the latest touch on the design to make sure we have a prototype at the end of the year. And only after a full month of testing, we will launch the full production. So that's very important to understand, and we call it the boat zero. We don't want this boat to become any time one design. We can drill, push, change, and test everything. Not the whole, because at the office, the GYD, they're doing a lot of CFD to make sure the appendages and all the fluids around and the rig is going to be okay. But you can imagine there's a lot of systems, and especially for the dagger board. This dagger board tack upwind, just to give you a number, I'm not going to give you too much number, but it's a rotation of 1.9 meters. So either if you're able to tack quickly and to be able to switch the board from one side to the other quick before it gets loaded, you're okay. So it's fast is one key. But at the end, if you're not finishing the full rotation, there will be already pressure on the board, and then you will be powered. So these kind of thing will be tested in December and January next year before we launch the full production. Same thing for the rig. And we also decide to test electric e-propulsion, and needs also some testing. A very interesting idea was to have a retractable propeller to make sure when the boat is sailing doesn't have any drag. We can design a propeller 5-blade propeller to be very efficient. These are all the things and features we're going to test with a prototype at the launch, which is going to be at the end of the year. The goal, very important for next year. Yeah, the goal at the end, thank you. At the end of the next year is to have 20 boats on the water, and we need to have the TNT team up with the 50, with the 44, 42 and 45, which I need to talk a little about. So the boat will be delivered between spring and the fall for the next nation trophy, like Leonardo explained. And that's it. For the very important part that I should mention, Juan explained and Leonardo explained about the boat, which is the interest today. But we listened a lot about during the nation trophy. And in fact, I would like to mention Ettore Mattiello, Corso Quilsi, which is over there, and all the team from for the Notor ClubSWAN organization. We took over the running of the class of the 42, the 45, the 50, of course, and now the 36. This is a very important part of it because the 36 will be using the same structures. We have a chief measurer that I guess a lot of you knows very well. His name is Andrew Yates. So he's going to be responsible for the one design rules. He's already the chief measurer for the ClubSwan 50. He's involved with the J-class, and he will be the chief measurer for the ClubSwan 36. And we have also another very important part, which is running the part on the water. It's not only the social, it's the professional race committee run by Ariane Mainmar, which is also, we believe, very important to be able to run regatta at the best level on the water. So where are we? So I think we covered everything. I would like to say, yes, for the rules, I had already many questions about what will be the granted of the one design rule. So it's, of course, it's a strict one design. That means you don't touch in anything if you're not allowed to. So weight, of course, CG, all that, we're doing our job to making sure. Go back a little, Pietro. So owner-driver rule, that's part of the DNA of Notor. It's a Pro-Am boat, which is a six crew on a boat, so 50-50, a maximum 3 professional and 3 amateurs, and the owner is driving. And if you want to have a relief driver, it has to be an amateur and not a professional. And as I explained, the dedicated ClubSwan organization. So that's an idea about how you can, anyway, you do whatever you want with the crew, but that can be an idea about the job on the boat. There will be a maximum weight also of 510 kilos. Some renders again. And I would like to say, yes, very important for the testing and the development of the e-propulsion, which is a real challenge for all of us. We partner with BMW and Torqeedo for complete systems, which not only talking about the battery, we're not only talking about the motor, we're talking about the full system from the propeller to the battery, or from the battery to the propeller. It depends how you see that. But we're going to test it also on the prototype and making sure there can be a good solution. So I would like to thank a lot BMW and Torqeedo for their help. Thank you. If you have any questions, I would like to mention Pietro, Corso, we are all here to answer any of your questions. Thank you for coming.